My belief, looking at the report and looking at the work of this group is entirely in the east of the city, is that the correct governance group to work with Eastern Vision would be a committee of the joint community boards. So for the community boards in the east to actually be the council governance body that interacts with Eastern Vision on this. So in terms of 6.2, my view is that the primary point of contact with Eastern Vision at council governance level would be the two community boards, the joint community boards.
Well, I was just completely going to echo what was said, in that, you know, at our community board, when we had our last meeting, people raised the concern that they didn't really have any that they weren't aware of what Eastern Vision was doing, and so I think it's, I don't know if staff can, you know, give us any information about whether they've been through community boards, whether there's been presentations or engagement, or...
I'm not exactly sure. I mean, certainly when Eastern Vision approached the last term of council, they were looking to make a connection with the council at that point rather than community boards. I mean, I know this council maybe is putting a different emphasis on community boards, so yeah, I'm not exactly sure what reporting they've done to those boards. I
just don't quite understand, if you're going to have community boards doing policies and objectives and visions for the area, and then you've got another group above doing something else. I do think it needs to be integrated into what community boards are doing, so I'd agree with Andrew.
I agree with this, and entirely with Andrew's earliest point, and that it go to a combined group of community boards or community board chairs. And like in point 10, it's all about optimum outcomes for communities, and areas of eastern suburbs require community leadership and community engagement. There it is. So I think this is heading in the right direction for this. And of course, we as councillors are part of those community boards too.
Mine's really actually more a question of a point of order. Really, we didn't have any declarations of interest earlier on, and there are myself and Glenn are members of Eastern Vision, so I should be probably backing away from this.
Clearing that, and Glenn has left the room, so it doesn't become quite so relevant for him. Are there any other declarations of interest while we're on the subject? If not, just remember to bring them up at the time, as we did. So just in terms of the community boards, are you satisfied, if it goes there, that it gets sufficient grunt at the council? Where does it come to from there? Just direct from that joint community board meeting to direct to the full council?
Well, I think this raises the question about our liaison with that group, and I think it's our community committee is perhaps it's part of the delegation there, so one of us could attend those meetings.
But I think, I mean, from what it sounds like, it's a Burwood Pegasus vision, and that's cool. I think the thing that's missing is a map of where this area is, so we actually know, and also some understanding about what it's already done. It's really talking about engaging people in East Christchurch, but we've got two councillors from one ward on it, and other areas that don't have much input into it. So I think there's a more fundamental question, is really around, you know, what area is it covering, and then we look at what's the best structure. But happy for it to report to council through the community committee, but it seems like they're trying to do more strategy and planning stuff as opposed to local activities. That just
to that group initially, and if it works well, brilliant. If it doesn't, we'll review it. But
yeah, just in terms of the area that Eastern Vision covers, there's not a map, but there is a description in the footnote on the first page of the protocol itself.
You have a list of who's on it as well.
So obviously I don't have that with me, but David is to my bell to help.
resolution, given the confusion over the
Just more of a process question. Once and I think this is a great idea, so once Biwa Pegasus, Hagley Ferrymead combined, make a decision there, is that effectively a recommendation that would come back to full council, just in the form of like the community board's reports?
That's how we would interpret.
My recollection of the delegations is that it would, unless we delegated it especially.
Yeah, that's fine then.
Yeah, just the name for me is actually really misleading if it doesn't include certain areas that are in the east and includes others. And I do wonder whether we need to give, I think if we could ask staff to attach a map to this report would be really useful, and a list of members. But also, I mean, I do think we should consider the name of this organisation and whether the boundary is actually appropriate. It might be that you either change the extent of it, or you might actually think about changing the name to reflect more about what it's actually, where it's actually covering.
Well, I think, Madam Chair, I mean, we can make suggestions, but obviously Eastern Vision is a body to itself, and its own title and what it believes is its area of coverage, I suppose, is for it to determine. All they're asking for us is a relationship with council. I understand what Councillor Hanson is saying, and perhaps so they have tried to define the area a bit more. But I mean, I think perhaps it's a rather long bow for this council to suggest they change their name. But yeah, I think that's all open for discussion with them when the two boards meet with them. Absolutely.